We're throwing big swim baits for big largemouth bass. I'm fishing on a completely uncharted and unnamed Minnesota lake in search of big fish. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I'm gonna make it in here. I love going on adventures. I love finding lakes off the beaten path. And this is a lake that is off the beaten path. It looks very shallow. Technically, this isn't a boat ramp, but I saw it on Google Earth and I figured it was worth a shot. But there's two things I'm worried about. Number one, I'm worried about getting my truck stuck. Number two, I'm worried about how far I'm gonna have to back in. But this lake is connected to some other lakes that historically I've done very well on for all types of fishing, mainly bass and crappies and bluegills. There's only one way to find out. So I'm gonna pack my truck in. I'm probably gonna have to get wet and we're gonna see if we can get our boat in here. We made it in. I don't think it's good to back my truck that far in. But still, that was barely even enough to get the boat off the trailer. But I don't want to leave my truck in there for too long. And we've got a beautiful lake that we made it onto. So that's the first mission accomplished. I got a feeling we're gonna catch fish out here, but obviously you never know with fishing. So I'm gonna get the truck figured out and we're gonna go test the water. Swim bait fishing is something that I've done a little bit of, but I've wanted to get back into. And my buddy Phoenix has just been making me jealous out in Arizona catching big largemouth bass. So I wanted to give a more budget-friendly swim bait setup a try. And we're gonna be throwing some big, hard swim baits around for largemouth bass. We're obviously gonna catch pike too because, well, we're in Minnesota. But this is something I don't see too many people doing in Minnesota and I wanna give it a try. So we're gonna get tossed in here. Let's see how dumb these fish are. There's one. Oh, that's a nice fish to start. That's a tank. That's a tank. That's a tank. Oh, baby. That is like literally, that's a chunk. Guys, that is like my fourth cast out here. So if we're going to start off like that, that's epic. Big glide bait. And just a freaking stout largie. He's not long, but that is like, that's a chunk. And that's our first fish out here. So we're gonna get that chunk back. Holy moly. Look at that thing. That's a big fish. That's a big fish. Okay, that's dumb. That's literally my fourth cast. Also, a special shout out about this glide bait. This is back from the Canal Gratis days. I brought this home from Sweden with me like 4 or 5 years ago now, which is just bizarre. It makes me feel so old. Shout out Pontus. If you haven't seen their channel, Boatside, you need to check that out because that's one of the, you know what, I'm just gonna say it, it's probably the best fishing YouTube channel that's out there. Ooh, big boil. Oh, I don't know what that was. I think there's a big pike. Maybe I'll come back. Who am I kidding? It's a pike. It's gonna come back. Oh, there he is. It's not that big, but he was not very boat shy. There's one. Another good one. Barely hooked though. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't come off. Don't come off. It's another good one. Are you for real right now? This is dumb. Are you kidding? This is fun. I'm a musky guy. I don't do a ton with bass. But this is epic. I see why people like doing this. This is like musky fishing for bass. I'm loving this. Freaking chunk. Look at the bucket on that thing. Nice. All right, well, first impressions of this lake. I mean, come on, seriously? 2 quality bass almost back to back in the first 5 minutes of fishing? Not bad. These fish definitely seem like they don't see baits that often, or at the very least, they don't see big glide baits. which I like that. If we can continue this momentum, we're in for a pretty sweet day. So I'm gonna get back to casting, and this is fun. If you haven't swim bait fished, I think I'm catching the bug. This might be the start of an addiction. That's a pike. Oh my lord. Look at this pike. Look at this pike. What's wrong with this thing? It's got a bluegill. It's got an entire bluegill in its stomach. I guarantee you that is a bluegill. That is absurd. Look at how, like, what in the heck? That's a big bluegill in there. If you're ever questioning why I'm throwing big baits or why you should throw big baits, that is 100% a big bluegill eaten whole in the stomach of that tiny pike. Look at how skinny like this fish is. That is like, I've never seen anything like that. I can feel the sunfish. I can literally feel the dorsal fin in there. Literally swallow that thing whole. That is one of the most bizarre fish I have literally ever caught in my life. Hopefully that thing can digest it. What's crazy to me is a fish with that big of a bluegill in it still wanted to take down a bait the same exact size that's already in its stomach. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Oh my goodness, did you see that bass? I've never had a bass be that aggressive before, let alone for a bait this big. Oh no, no. Oh man, that was a freaking big one. Here's one. Not as big as those first two. Still a quality fish. We're getting up to the stuff that I think is going to be really good. This is like prime spawning habitat. This is all like undercut wetland. And we got ourselves another bass. Smallest one of the day, but I got a feeling that there's going to be a bunch of fish on this shoreline, especially with the wind blowing in here. There's one. Well, the fish are starting to get smaller. I'm just covering water super fast. Nothing to write home about on that guy, but still covering water with the swim bait. The one nice thing about this swim bait is I can work this pretty fast. So I'm just, casting up along these reed edges, just fishing as fast as the boat is. Unreal how many bass I've had follow this. All in all though, the first impressions on this rod is, number one, I'm impressed with the amount of contact that I have with my bait on such a stout blank. If you're interested in checking out this rod or literally any other rod in the Vex and Bass series, I do have a 20% off discount code as BSF20, so it's a great way to try, an already budget-friendly rod at an even better price. So I'll have links in the description for both this product and just the Vex and site as a whole. And let's get back to crushing big largies. Oh man, I don't know what that is. It's gonna be a pike. That was sick. That was a cool hit. Oh my god, look at how pretty that fish is. That is a gorgeous pike. That is a gorgeous fish. Wow. Look at how dark that pike is. And he's just got these amazing bars on the top of him. Like, it almost, like, he's so close to having stripes. It's actually insane. But that was a cool bite. And that was a beautiful fish. There's one. That was cool. Flipped right into that tree. He's a little guy, but we're catching fish on opener. Catch them in a fun way. You can't complain about a couple small ones. Oh shoot, missed him. Got him. That was sick. Usually bass don't come back for a second time, but that one did. A better fish. All right, we're getting back on track with a nice fish. All right, well, I'm making my way back to where we started, and our size is getting a little bit better. A lot of our northern largemouth, they don't get super long, but they get pretty stout. That's a good example of that. We'll get this guy back and keep at it. Well, it's time for me to switch gears to a new species, but that was fun. I'm gonna explore what else this lake has to offer, but I'd say it was a success on the bass fishing side of things. So this was fun. I'm definitely gonna come back here. If you have any ideas of what else to try on this lake, then let me know down below. But with all that out of the way, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next week.